Hey guys, Bukor here, and this is my list of the top 3 basic shotguns in Call of Duty Black Ops 3. By basic I mean guns that were in the game at the initial time of its full release, so that means nothing from supply drops or anything like that. The reason that today's video is a top 3 is because there is actually only 4 basic shotguns in the entire game, so a top 5 is not possible. This list is my personal opinion, and I made these decisions based upon how well I do with weapons, as well as how comfortable I feel using them. So, before we get into the top 3, I have one dishonourable mention, which is the Haymaker. So, the Haymaker is a fully automatic shotgun, and unlike the M1216 from Black Ops 2, it doesn't have to rechamber every 4 rounds, so it provides continuous fire. However, also unlike the M1216, it actually shoots grains over ice. In trying to balance the shotguns in Black Ops 3, Treyarch managed to make the fully automatic shotgun deal a lot less damage, which is a great idea, because otherwise it'd be overpowered, right? Unfortunately, they made the damage so low that this weapon is often a 3 to 4 shot kill, and it's not even like it fires particularly fast. This unfortunate attribute gives it a pretty slow time to kill and makes it incredibly awkward and uncomfortable to use. On top of that, it doesn't even feel like a shotgun, which means it doesn't even have its dignity. Poor Haymaker. At least you'll be remembered as that beastly weapon in Zombies, but thankfully that's where you'll stay. So getting into our top 3 now, we have the KRM-262. As someone who used the Remington R870 shotgun very regularly in Black Ops 2, making the transition to the KRM was like having someone take away your pepperoni pizza and replace it with a banana. It's not that the weapon is absolutely awful, it's just that after having something as nice as a pepperoni pizza, that banana may as well be a bowl of dog shit. The weapon is worse in every way imaginable than the Remington. It has a slower fire rate, shorter range, and a slower reload. It's still usable as a gun, and it does its job as a shotgun reasonably well in that you can usually expect one-hit kills with it at very close ranges, but at anything more than 10 meters, the gun basically becomes useless, as it's a 2-shot kill with a very slow fire rate, and almost every weapon in the entire game is going to kill you before you let loose that second shot. Due to the slow fire rate, it's also a very unforgiving weapon. If you miss that first shot, then it's pretty much game over, as unless your opponent is completely shit or playing on a potato, then you're not going to live to pull the trigger again. Honestly, in the 40 years or so in time between the setting of Black Ops 2 and Black Ops 3, you'd think they'd have updated the shotgun technology, but instead we're just left with this poor man's Remington. Many people argue that shotguns were overpowered in Black Ops 2, and maybe they'd be right, but a two shit. That's staying in. A 2-shot kill pump-action shotgun is definitely not the way to go about fixing it. The third spot was a tough choice to make between the KRM and the Haymaker, as they're both pretty shit, but the KRM actually takes skill to use, as well as being a traditional style pump-action shotgun, which elevates it above the Haymaker for me. At number 2, we have the Argus. The Argus is a strange gun, to be perfectly honest. It supposedly has some weird-ass technology in it that makes it so that when you hip-fire, the spread is similar to a normal shotgun, and also seems to somehow do, like, no damage, but when you aim down sights, the pellets tighten up into a slug, as in there is literally no spread. This makes it so that if you hip-fire, you're very unlikely to kill the enemy from anything other than point-blank range, but if you ADS, suddenly the range becomes absolutely ridiculous, to the point where you can get one-shot kills at ranges that seem absolutely impossible for a shotgun. I'm pretty sure they actually nerfed the range since beta, because I feel like I recall it being even longer than it is now, but even at this point the range on this weapon is pretty insane, even more so with long barrel. Unfortunately, the incredibly tight slug shot from the Argus while aiming down sights means that if you don't hit your shot perfectly, whereas with a normal shotgun you would still probably damage your target and maybe even kill it, with the Argus you will miss completely. As well as this, it doesn't work in the same way as its counterpart from Black Ops 2, the KSG, as it is still technically firing buckshot, which means it follows the Call of Duty programming for buckshot shotguns in that the bullets disappear into thin air at a certain range to stop shotguns from being overpowered. This means that while a KSG with long barrel was a one-shot headshot from any range and could hit enemies from the other side of the map and was pretty OP, the Argus plays essentially the same role as the KSG but not as well. This is even more noticeable in Hardcore, where while a KSG was a one-shot kill from any range in Black Ops 2, the Argus is pretty much the worst weapon you can possibly use in Hardcore in Black Ops 3. What makes the Argus a good weapon, however, in Core, is that it becomes lethal in the hands of a good player. It's a weapon that has a very high skill cap and a very steep learning curve, which means it takes a lot of skill and is difficult to get used to, but once you do get used to it, it becomes a long-range one-shot kill machine, which means you can outgun SMGs even at medium ranges with just one shot, provided you're accurate. This gives it actual viability as a weapon, and also gives it a unique selling point, as well as making it good for taking out unsuspecting campers by surprise. Overall, I would definitely say that this is one of the hardest weapons to use in the game, but if you practice with it, you can definitely reap the reward. And our number 1 spot today goes to the 205 Brecci. I think it's pronounced Brecci rather than Brecci, Brioche? Anyways, the Brecci is a semi-automatic shotgun with reasonably high damage and a somewhat slow fire rate, but what makes this weapon good is that it has a wide spread and is a 3-shot kill at absolute worst, but it's usually a 2-shot kill. And with its wide spread and surprisingly long range, it's honestly far too easy to hit your target. Putting a laser sight on this weapon is actually detrimental in many cases, as all you need with this weapon is for one buckshot pellet to hit, and the wider spread of not having laser sight makes you more likely to hit the target, even if your aim is a little off. As a result of this weapon is extremely annoying and takes almost no skill to use, which means it's very popular in public matches, and is a very annoying weapon to die to. Don't get me wrong, I'm not a fan of this weapon at all, but I have to admit that it's the strongest shotgun in the game, and a lot of people would even go as far as to say it's broken. I wouldn't agree, but I would say that it doesn't seem to matter who is holding this weapon, whether a pro or complete noob, the end result is pretty much the same. Overall, I think the shotguns are some of the weakest primary weapons in the game, and there's very few scenarios in which I would take a shotgun over an SMG. But after how dominant shotguns were in Black Ops 2, I can understand why Treyarch decided to nerf the class as a whole. It sucks for players like me who enjoy flanking and rushing, but I guess there's always the Vesper for that role. So that's my top 3 shotguns in COD Black Ops 3. If you enjoyed it, feel free to leave a like and subscribe. If you hated it and you think my opinion is shit, then okay, it probably is. But anyways, thanks for watching and peace.